Hello, kindergarten. We're going to continue in social today. And we talked about being a good citizen. And you sent us your little stories about being truthful, kind, good manners, and helpful. And I just want to remind you about being helpful at home. So you can help out at your home. And I'd like you to think about how you do that. The little things you do to be helpful at home. Then the next day, remember we had our special guest and she helped Mrs. Zablotnik speak another language. And bonjour, hello. And these are the children speaking different languages. Now, today we're going to talk about it long ago or in the past. So I'm going to read you a little story first. And it goes, tell me a story. I remember hearing stories from my grandparents and I loved hearing them. And it says, tell me a story, Grandma. Tell me about your life when you were a girl. And this, Grandma, I lived on a farm. I had chores like you do. I fed the chickens and gathered eggs. So this is the grandma telling the child her story. So today, I would like you, if you can, to contact your grandparents, your grandmother and your grandmother or grandfather, or maybe some of you can go great-grandmother and great-grandfather. So these are your mom and dad's parents. And some things I'd like you to ask them, and I'll tell you the stories what my grandmother said. When my grandmother watched TV, she watched it on a black and white TV. Sometimes there were no cars back then, and so they had to use a horse and buggy to get around, or a train. So I grew up in Prince Edward Island, so we had a train that would take you all across the island. Of course, it took a very long time, so they didn't do that often. And the story I love to hear is that my grandmother would bake bread every couple of days because she had there was lots of people in her family, like 12. That's a lot. So they could, and a lot of them were boys, so they could eat a lot of bread. So I would like you to, the next time you talk to your grandparents, it's probably either on a phone or Zoom or however you contact them, I'd like you to ask your grandparents what activities they played, okay, when they were your age. So what would they do in their spare time? What chores they did. This grandma had to collect the eggs, plus I'm sure she had a lot of other chores. What toys they played with. It's kind of neat to see the toys they had. Their transportation, that means did they have a car, how they got from place to place, and what their TV looked like. So kindergarten, have fun learning about the past and what your grandparents did. Take care, wash your hands, bye.